See here. Turn that down a little bit. I have to make sure all systems go. Oh yeah, I can hear myself. All right. Look like all systems are go, guys. Whoop, got a button open. Oh, it's not me. All right. Let's get some things loaded up right quick first. I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm going to put that on here right now. I hope everybody having a blessed weather. We're getting torrential rains right now. And this time, we're ready. This time, we're ready. I'll explain that in a little bit. All right, let's put that in here. Let's put that in here. Just a small statement there on the side so everybody can see it. And all right. If I can do that. Good. Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Antonio on. I hope all is well. I hope you all have the most beautiful and prosperous day on this Tuesday. I laid some comments out there so you know about what I'm about to talk about. Today's book has finally arrived. It arrived yesterday. It was a little bit late in the night. So, and plus I have some contractors here today, which warrant my undivided attention, especially when it comes to attention to detail. My gutters, just a long story short, my gutters are bad and it needs replacement, okay? Thankfully, I got it replaced this morning, right on time, thanks to some good people, thanks to a friend of mine, a gentleman who I befriended. His name is Garrett, and he has definitely a good contractor to work with to give you the workers you need. And so my next step is to get the roofers in to take a look inspection on my roof, my shinglings too, because there's a leak somewhere. So one thing about being a homeowner, if you just don't know. Sometimes you get a house that's 20 years old, anything is possible. You may have one thing fixed, you get another thing, there's another thing. And that's just the part of being a homeowner, okay? Of course, your tax deduction always helps. But that's just part of being a homeowner, unless you buy one brand spanking new, and even those may have maybe one or two issues with that. But you want to get quality workmanship done. And I believe my wife and I have received the best deal for the work. I mean, we got some new gutters. These gutters are a little bigger than the standard gutters that can handle a lot more volume. Because lately, the rain has been horrendous. And it's been like nonstop pour down. So, and that has to do with this weather system off the coast that's bringing all this warm, moist air up to the East Coast, warranting us with these beautiful torrential rains nonstop. But they just completed the task. The last task is just to put the screen so by fall we don't have to worry about leaves being an issue. But anyway, guys, enough of that. I want to talk about this book right here called the Chesterfield County Virginia. Let me move this over here. That way I can really chat. Now you know I have other books. The Chesterfield County Virginia Career Guide, Volume 2, is a comprehensive guide, just like Volume 1, Volume 3, and Volume 4, which will arrive on Friday. Okay? It's a comprehensive guide to careers, education, certification, licenses, salaries, and business opportunities. Now, here's a question, guys, I want to ask each and every one of you. Are you planning? Are you planning your future right now? If you're in high school, are you planning your future right now? If you're transitioning from the military, are you planning your future right now? Or changing your careers, preparing to enter a workforce, or searching new business opportunities? I know I'm always doing that. The Chesterfield County Virginia Career Guide Volume 2 is a comprehensive roadmap to success. Take a look at that. And I hope you can see it because I can't see it, but I know some folks can. And you can see right here, it says it all right here. Now, this is a paperback. Lovely print. 400 and, to be exact, let me be exact, 413 pages, okay? It has pictorial illustration. It's in black and white. It's a gorgeous book. Illustrations from the inside out. It's a beautiful book by yours truly. I've done a lot of work. I experienced a lot of this. These careers, I experienced them myself. Coming out of high school, I want to be an electrician. I want to go to college, be what do you call it, an engineer. And on the electrical side, some things, the directions didn't go the way I wanted. And a lot of times, I have no clue what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. This book will clarify that for you. Building up the foundation, establishing value, volume 1. This practical resource explores additional high-demand careers, guys, that are essential to Chesterfield County, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and the nation workforce. Whether you are a high school student, college student, veteran, job seeker, career changer, educator, workforce professional, or inspiring entrepreneur, this guide provides valuable information to help you make informed decisions. And that's what you want to do. You want to make informed decisions, okay? So, what's inside this volume? Well, you'll discover in this book, advanced careers in advanced manufacturing. And I'm going to expand this. Construction and skilled trade. Now, who hasn't worked construction? Who hasn't worked a trade? I have worked construction and a trade. Transportation and logistics, public safety, corrections, education and training, business and entrepreneurship. Each chapter provides practical, easy to understand information covering career description and daily responsibilities, educational pathways and training requirements, professional certifications, license information, okay, salary expectations and employment outlook, career advancement opportunities, artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, professional organizations and industry resources. Also contains entrepreneurship and business ownership opportunities, essential workplace skills employers value, career planning, and long-term success strategies. Course written by yours truly, a medical retired veteran, disabled veteran, of course, educator, former state and federal correctional officer, professional, teacher, substitute teacher. I've been an entrepreneur, pastor, and author for more than 75 published books and still adding. This guide combined decades of leadership, public service, education, workforce experience into one comprehensive career resource. Rather than simply listing occupation, this guide helps readers understand how to prepare for successful careers, develop valuable skills, obtain certifications, license, and pursue higher education. Not to mention, build rewarding futures in today's rapidly changing economy. Whether your goal is to enter the workforce, advance professionally, transition from military service, earn a promotion, or start your own business, the Chesterfield County Virginia Career Guide Volume 2 will help you explore opportunities, make informed decisions, and confidently prepare for tomorrow. This book will do that for you guys. I'm here to tell you, I'm a living witness. I have, back in the 80s, when I was just looking into the workforce, I had worked odd jobs as a youth, but I also, from high school, have worked odd jobs, not knowing what their requirements, what type of skills is necessary, how can I grow within the company. I have no guidance at all. And there were none available. You go by the employment commission and you look on the wall, you see the job description, and it doesn't really go into the nuts and bolts of what you need to do to prepare for such careers. And I always tell anyone, if you're looking for a career, always look up the company and to find out what is their company, what's the name of the company, what it is they manufacture, what is its products, what is its long-term, what is its mission statement, what is their mission, why are they here, what products are they providing that will make life easier for many other companies or individuals. Those are things you want to consider that when having the interview, okay? So let's talk about a number of chapters that is covered in this book. And there's 28 chapters. Of course, the one part of it is about myself, why I wrote the book. That's at the end of the book. You can read that at your leisure. But what's important is you want to know about lean manufacturing. In page 9, you'll find a discussion about lean manufacturing. And part 1 talks about construction and skilled trade and what is the requirement. How many of you will desire to be an electrician? What is the requirement to become an electrician? How much experience must you have to become an electrician? What test or institution or trade do you need to participate or sign up for in order to become an electrician? Or is there an apprenticeship program? Same thing for plumber. I went to plumbing school. I was on the apprenticeship program through the Air Force. I went through a 3-month training course within the Air Force to learn. And I'm telling you, if you really want to get introduced to a trade, Air Force civil engineering is the way to go. I served in prime beef with the 192nd. I have served with the 203rd Red Horse. That's my primary unit. And I enjoyed every opportunity within the Air National Guard of the 203rd Red Horse. And it was just part of the Air Force Reserve, okay? No regrets. Loved every bit of it. We also have HVAC. Air Force have HVAC. You want to be an HVAC mechanic? This book covers what is required. Carpentry, what is required. Heavy equipment operator, which is on chapter 6, talks about that. I'm a heavy equipment. I can operate up to a 20K forklift operator. We have machines that are similar to front loaders. You can convert it into a front loader. There we go. We can convert it because it's the same machine that a big old 4-wheel front loader will operate. It's the same similar machine, except you got to remove the lift part and add the bowl part, what you use the cup to pick up the dirt and debris. I can't explain that well, but I've done that. I've driven a crab crawler, a 20,000-pound crab crawler, 20,000-pound front loader, done all those things. There's other equipment I have operated. I can't remember the nomenclatures right offhand. But if you want to get into heavy equipment operations, that's the way to go. If you want to be a crane operator, this book covers that. General contractor. You want to be a general contractor. I have a friend who's a general contractor. I knew him from the Air Force side, and he became a general contractor. We're modeling homes, okay? Roofing. I had some guys here that do siding, roofing, and gutters. You know, yeah, it's a much needed company. It's a much needed service because if your roof caves in or if your roof gets weak, your whole house falls apart. Masonry, another skill that's needed, that's been around for thousands of years. It's a good trade. It's a good skill to take in consideration. It gives you also what are the requirements. Painting, another skill. Landscaping, I've done that for a while for the city of Petersburg and for myself, just to provide that kind of service. Now, part 2 covers transportation and logistics. That's page 161 for you if you don't know. In chapter 12, we talk about truck driving. Okay, what is required with the CDL license requirements. It's a little bit more stricter now for obvious reasons. When I was in the Army and Air Force, I drove a 2.5-ton vehicle. And when I was in the Air Force, I did the Air National Guard. I drove a 2.5-ton plus 8 tons of equipment on a trailer. I had to learn how to back up. I had to be certified in it. I have to get my license for it, my military license. I have to receive all this training because when we talk about rapid deploy, that's exactly what it means. You got to be ready to go on an instant. Load equipment onto a C-17 or a C-5 and go to your next destination, unload, go to work. All right? So, truck driving, you want to get there, definitely look at, it talks about CDL license requirement. And understand if you have a military license to drive a 5-ton or more, you can go. So, I mean, the federal government has made it easier where you can just transition that and go straight to driving tractor trailers because you're driving basically a tractor trailer anyway. Okay? That's chapter 12 on truck driving. Warehousing, which is a very important part of logistics and distribution. I have worked at many, many warehouses in my days, my youth, and I'll tell you that's hard work. You're moving products, you're moving services, you're moving food. There's a timing. You got to load so many trailers per day. You got to unload so many trailers per hour, not per day. Well, per day, if you unload, let's say 12 trailers per day, I think that's pretty good for one trailer. That's moving. I mean, when I used to load trailers, I used to load 3 per 6-hour shift, and that's moving. Okay, and I used to operate a forklift too. Okay, and I forgot the small forklift, what they call it. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, warehousing is very important part of logistics. Okay, supply chain management, railroad careers. Now, some guys I have met a while back are retired from the railroad industry and doing very well. Doing very well. They pay very good. Okay, we talk about that. Distribution centers. Again, same thing. Okay, chapter 16. Fleet management. What did it take to get these vehicles on the move to their destination and back? Okay. Public safety. Part 3 is public safety. What it talks about? It talks about law enforcement career. Okay. Chapter 19 talks about sheriff office careers. Chapter 20, firefighters careers. Chapter 21, emergency communication 911 dispatch career. Did you know there's a lot of opportunities in the 911 dispatch careers? I didn't know that at first. Okay. Correctional officer careers, which I have served as a correctional officer back in the days. I served under state and federal correctional. Homeland security careers. Okay. Chapter 23. I have worked with first responders when we were deployed to New Orleans during the great Hurricane Katrina. I had the opportunity to work with some wonderful first responders from all over the country. We live in a great nation, guys. Don't miss out your blessing, okay? Because this is a great nation. This is a great nation. And you heard it from me. Amen. So part 4 talks about educational careers. I've been a substitute teacher, okay? And I taught it as an assistant at one of the universities, to teach about entrepreneurship, give a speech in class to a class of 30 students. I had the opportunity to do that. So when you talk about teachers' career, that's in chapter 24. Chapter 25 covers school administration careers. Okay, there's careers outside of teaching, within school administration. Okay, higher education careers, and some of you guys looking to be professors, or what's the other word for it? Not scientists, researchers. So on chapter 26, talk about higher education career. Chapter 27, adult education careers. Chapter 28, talk about workforce training careers. Workforce training careers. That's the last chapter. So basically in this book, you're going to learn, if you're interested in trade, skilled trade, This is the book for you. This is the book for you. If you're looking to be in skilled trade, okay? If you're looking to be in logistics, transportation, uh, you want to be a truck driver, tractor trailer truck driver, you want to be a delivery driver, and you still need a CDL. This book is a good reference for you, okay? When you want to learn what it takes to become a manager within the supply chain, you don't have to have a degree or a career in the railroad industry, which is huge. They pay very well. I talked to some guys, and they were telling me they got a very good compensation plan and a very good retirement plan. Because what? We depend on it. Our nation, our industry depends on railroads. Our nation depends on what? Tractor trailer drivers, as well as the fleet for reference to needing pilots to fly commercial aircraft. And already talk about the need for public safety, education. We need teachers. We need teachers who cares about our students. Hire educators. We need educators to build the foundation for the next tomorrow. All right. So that's some of the things that this book covered, and I want to talk about. Let's talk about. Let's see, trade. Part 1. Of course, it got the different trade opportunities, which I just mentioned, and it talks about the introduction, what is the profession. So let's go ahead and talk about, I don't know if I want to talk about electrician. I think it is because my dad is a master electrician, and I know a young man whose father was a master electrician, had his own. My dad worked at the plant, and the other gentleman who I grew up with in school, he became also a master electrician too. His father was a residential electrician. So there's opportunity. So what is electrician? And this book talks about that right here. What is electrician? They tell you what they are. So that way you don't go and say, hey, I want to do this blindly. So electrician is a skilled trade professional who installs, repair, maintains, inspect, and upgrade electrical power, lighting, communications, control, and safety system. My grandson is an electrician. You know, I went into the electrical engineer. I started off going through the journey through my father to become an electrician. I went through Voltech education to become an electrician. And I went, as soon as I got to college, I'm like, engineering. I want to design circuits. I want to work with microprocessing units, that sort of thing. But I can work on my own stuff. Electricians work with electrical wiring, circuit breakers, electrical panels, and which is much needed, transformers, motors, lighting system, backup generators, fire alarm system, security system, building automation system, solar energy system, electrical vehicle charging equipment. You gotta have it. And I did this, and I hope I did say backup generators. I made sure to have the very best electricians to come by my house to install a generator or Generex. You need an electrician to do that, and he's a very young man who knows what he's doing. And then I had a young group of men to install solar panels, keep me on the grid. That way, my electrical expense will be less, and I'm contributing to our power grid. So why choose a career as electrician? I'm just going to read this off to you a little bit, because I want you guys to see the benefit what this book brings. Okay. Now, the electrician enjoys numerous professional advantages. Here it is. Benefits include strong employment demand. It's not enough of them. We need more. Competitive wages, paid apprenticeship program, excellent job security, opportunities for overtime, multiple industrial options, state licensing, leadership opportunities, entrepreneur's potential. See, electricians perform work that is essential to nearly every residential, commercial, industrial, and government facility. We got to have them. Okay? I have a friend who's an HVAC mechanic on Fort Lee. Electrician career pathway. Electrician may pursue several specialized career paths. Residential electrician. Residential electrician installs, maintains electrical system in homes, apartments, and residential development. Responsibilities. What are they? Install electrical wiring. Connect lighting fixtures. Install electrical panels. Troubleshoot electrical problems. Upgrade service panels. Install electrical vehicles chargers. Very important. And smart home system. Education. Now, here's the education requirement, guys. Apprenticeship is required, or a technical school, or a career and technical education, CTE program. So when you hear the word CTE program, career and technical education, get in it. If you see technical school, which I have graduated from, and you want to attend, let's say you want to go to, it used to be John Tyler Community College, or Community College of the Air Force will give you that training that you need. You want to go through an apprenticeship program, they're available. Now, a lot of people think you need to make $50,000 or more, you got to have a college degree. That is not true. That is not true. With that skill, you can earn between $50,000 to $80,000. $58,000 to $80,000 without a student loan is a good thing. And you're working with your hands. And you have attention. You got to have eyes. You got to have attention to details. So that concludes the residential electrician. Let's talk about the commercial electrician. The commercial electrician, on the other hand, install electrical system in what? Offices, schools, hospitals, retail centers, and commercial buildings. What are their responsibilities? Well, here they are. Install conduits, wire commercial facilities, install lighting system, fire alarms installations, electrical testing. Matter of fact, I have a guy on the residential side install a fire and burglar alarm in my house. So you got to know what you're doing. Equipment troubleshooting as well. So what's the typical range for salary for the commercial side? Between $60,000 to $90,000 a year. $60,000 to $90,000 a year, okay? That's just on the commercial side. Installing conduits, equipment in a commercial building. Not a residential, but a commercial building. $60,000 to $90,000, pretty good. If you can do both, that's even better, okay? Now, let's go into the industrial electrician side, which is my father's side of the house. My father works at a plant, okay? And if you're working in a plant as an electrician, you got you got more than just 120 volts. Industrial electrician, maintain electrical equipment used in manufacturing, industrial operation. Matter of fact, my neighbor's an electrician in the industrial side of the house. That's for you. Responsibilities, motor control, PLC troubleshooting, equipment maintenance, automation system, high voltage system. Yes, sir. I'm going to say that again. High voltage system. I don't know why my computer keeps going to sleep. I need to set it up. And the typical salaries range from $70,000 to $105,000 annually. I'm going to say that again. Without a degree. $70,000 to $105,000. And depending how long you've been there, it could be more. I'm just putting down the range, okay? Industrial electrician. Now, I know there's electricians out there that may earn more than that without a degree. You got skills. If you got leadership skills for a team, a shop. Now, I used to be I used to be the assistant supervisor to a shop working under the superintendent under my plumbing shop, the mechanical shop when I was in the Air Force. And then we had another guy that I was transitioning out. We had another guy who was an HVAC mechanic, but also working in the mechanical shop. He was in leadership, transferred. He was already E6. Let him have it, okay? So, and then which brings us to the next part of electricity. See, a lot of you didn't notice that's so much into the electrician side. I haven't even started the other one. When you read the book, you have a greater understanding of it. If you're a career counselor, get this book. So a master electrician, let's talk about master electrician. Still my father. Master electrician supervised project, oversees apprentice, Interpret electrical code. That's a must. I believe industrial electricians should know the same thing. And manage complex installation. Responsibilities. Project supervision. Code compliance. Yes, everything has to be within code. Virginia has a code. You have to master that code book. You got to take exams. You got to take a test and pass. Okay? Permits and coordination. So you got to get that permit. Without that work permit to work on a project, you're not going anywhere. I had to have a permit just to put solar in my house. Okay? You got to have a permit to start work on my generators. So you got to have a permit. You got to have these documentation, and everything has to be within code. And if you read the code book, you'll understand. It makes sense. And every code is different in every state. Not every state's the same. So what else you get? Employee training. You got to provide training. Customer consultation. Quality assurance. That's a must. Salary. Between a typical salary for a master electrician, and I'm talking about a master electrician, is $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Some makes over $150,000. I also believe maybe $180,000. Depends on the industry, okay, and their level of expertise. You read that blueprint, and that blueprint said you run that conduit and that wire to this box over here, and then you run this box over to 120 volts to, you run another box. You're not going to put no 220 volts until 120 volts. I don't think so. All right. So let's move on. Electrical project manager. Electrical project manager, which is another important position. Electrical project manager oversees large construction project involving electrical systems. You better know something about integrated circuit. You better know how to read a schematic diagram, or as we call a blueprint. Okay, you better know CAD. Budget manager, and you also understand you got to do with budget, because everything, every man hours costs money. Equipment costs money, especially if you're renting. So you got a budget management, you got scheduling, contract coordination, yep, project planning, client communication, whoever you're going to be your client, and if you're doing all this work for, workforce supervision. And that paid between $95,000 to $145,000. Some get paid up to $250,000. But in the book, we're going to say $145,000 for electrical project manager. You may be running, they're building a brand new nuclear power plant. Guess what, project manager? You have to be on your toes. A group of project managers working on design, working on the budget cost, working on schedule. And you have to be within some projects have to be done within the schedule, okay? And you got to make sure it's within compliance and within codes. And you also communicate, conveying a message to that client, which is that company or that customer or company or institution. And you're also working with what? Workforce supervisors. $95,000 to $145,000. Very important job. Electrical contractor. Now, this is where entrepreneurship comes in too. Electrical contractors own or manage electrical contracting business, entrepreneur. Serving residential, commercial, industrial, or government clients. What are their responsibilities? Their responsibilities are as such: business management, estimating, workforce leadership, customer relations, financial management, regulatory compliance. Typical salaries, $100,000 plus. Can you imagine the responsibilities on the shoulders of that contractor? That contractor had to oversee to make sure everything within that project is up to code. It confirms the regulatory compliance, working with customers, and then supervising, making sure that project manager on top of their toes, making sure the master electrician on their toes, making sure the supervisor on their toes, and making sure the project is running smoothly. Okay? And it also depends on business sizes. Now, you'll be $100,000, and then maybe over, $300,000. Who knows? Depending on the business size. Okay? Daily responsibilities are as follows for the contractor. Read blueprints. Remember I was talking about the blueprints? Interpret electrical schematic. Remember I was talking about the schematic diagrams, okay? Knowing CAD, computer aided drafting, is always a good idea, okay, to have under your belt. Install conduits. Pull electrical wiring. Install panels, breakers, test electrical circuits, troubleshoot. This is for all electricians. Replace defective equipped components. Install lighting system. Document complete work. Inspect installation. I can't stop doing that. Even though when contractors come here, I'm checking their work out. I'm analyzing their work to make sure everything is within code. Because as the customer, it's my job to make sure that these experts are doing their job and not shortcutting me. Ensure code compliance. Every day require technical expertise, attention to detail. Remember, as I always said, the word attention to details, guys. It's very important. One thing off, a volt off can make a big difference. Current, AC current, talking about electrical current. So we were talking about current. That current got to be right. That means you got to be testing. You got to have those meters to test it. The technical expertise, detail, strict adherence to safety standards. Safety is about never wear jewelry when working on electrical equipment. Don't even wear a watch, because everything that can conduct electricity will kill you. Okay? If you're on a pole, you're wearing gloves. You're wearing your hard hat. Okay? You're wearing hearing protection if needed. Wearing goggles or glasses with the goggle thing to protect you, because you just don't know. Okay, you got to wear your PPE, boots as well. Okay, typical work setting. Electricians work in many environments. This includes residential construction, commercial buildings, manufacturing facilities, hospital. Yes, hospital. We need them. Schools and universities. Absolutely. Government buildings, utility companies, like your power companies, your water treatment companies. I mean, those are essential. Your solar panel companies. Got to have them. Okay, renewable energy installation. I already mentioned solar. See, there you go. Transportation facility, data centers, and there's supposed to be 3 data centers within a 70, 60-mile radius from me being built. One here in Chester, one in Petersburg, and I forgot where the other one's going to be. But they're coming, and they're going to absorb a great amount of energy. They're going to use a lot of water unless they come up with something similar to radiator fluid that will keep the coolant, the machine cool, okay, like a coolant. I'd rather have that than mess with my water. I need water to drink. Transportation facilities, definitely a must. Data centers, military installation like Fort Lee, like Fort Bragg, Fort Benning, Fort Jackson, Fort Dix, just to name a few. Electrical contracting companies. These are the places you can get a job. No one told me. Nobody ever broke this down to me, like a mentorship. And my dad's an electrician. My dad's got a lot of stuff going on. Plus, he's a master sergeant in the reserve. I'm like, son, I don't have time to show you every nook and cranny. This is it. That's it. All that I see is his equipment. I play with it. I touch it, the meters. I see his big old bag with all his screwdrivers and stuff and his big old boots. Dad never took the time, and that's why I got into it, because I want to learn for myself. And there's some times Dad would take me out on a project with him to run some wires, and I would help him. Okay, and I was like 15, 16, 17, 18, 17 years old at the time. And it was fun. I loved it. And I wanted to be like my dad. I want to be fixing television, because I learned how to fix radios, television sets, those old phonographs I used to be able to fix. And a lot of this is mechanical issues too. So you fine tune those mechanical issues are important as well, if you want your record player to play right, and especially your 8-track tape players. I used to work on those, and your cassette players I used to work on those. A lot of time you got too much I'm getting into magnetism. It will cause your tape to stick together, and then you got a whole jam, and it just ruins the whole thing. Now, what specializations are available within electricals for an electrician? I'm glad you asked. Professionals may specialize in residential wiring, okay? commercial electrical system, industrial electrical system, high voltage distribution. Those big old towers you see out there are high voltage distributors. You got transformers out there. In a piece of property, you got these electrical, what do you call these things? These metal rods, not metal rods, but frames with 3 or 4 transformers nearby. Okay, you got step-up transformers, step-down transformers, whatever they may be, and wires. Those are part of they'll step up the power and distribute them out. Okay, because over time, now I'm getting into electrical. Let me stop. And so those are high voltage distributors. There's plenty. They're all over your town. You may not even take notice of them, but they're there. Okay. Solar installation, photovoltaic installation, PV, electrical vehicle charging system. You can specialize in that. Some people start businesses like that. Okay, because people are now buying electrical vehicles, EVs, and want to set up the system's charging port in their home. Well, you got to know what you're doing, my friend. You just can't just plug in and do a regular plug. You got to put it into the system, let you to connect to your circuit box, and there's a certain amount of voltage if you want that thing charged up within a reasonable amount of time instead of taking all night. Okay? Fire alarm system. So you may be specializing in fire alarm, or you may specialize in security system. I'm bringing two guys who are both specialized in fire alarm and security system. Building automation, okay? Data communication, renewable energy. We already talked about solar. We're talking about wind. That's another thing, wind generators. Industrial control. Specialization allows electricians to develop advanced expertise and increase career opportunities. That's a fact without a degree. Without a degree. It's all about what you want. There's courses, there's classes, there are apprenticeship programs, there's training opportunities. Even with your employer, will invest in you for the long term. But so what essential skills that you need? I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna need mathematics, mechanical aptitudes, that's a must. Electrical theories, blueprint reading is a must. Problem solving, attention to details, manual dexterity, communication skills, physical stamina. It takes some physical stamina to climb those ladders and climb that pole. There's a take a better stamina. You may be working on a tower like my dad used to do. He used to climb those towers and work on those things. Okay, you may be changing a bulb on a light bulb that's maybe 100 to 200 feet above ground. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But you get paid well for it. And you may be 1,000 feet up, changing, working on radar station, or working on a tower on a ship. It's still electrical. And what else we got here, guys? We got National Weather Service flash flooding warning in effect for this area until 5 p.m. This is a dangerous, life-threatening. Good thing I'm on a hill. Do not attempt to travel unless you are fleeing under an area subject to flooding or under evacuation. That was your weather forecast for you. Yes, things about to get real. And I thank God that I have these guys who are skilled, or for tech skill, to come in and install my gutters right on time. Just in time for this weather. Okay? And that's when the real test comes in. So electricity must also remain current and changing with the changing electrical codes, which they do change over time. That old book I used to have is worthless. You got to get the new book, okay? And evolving technologies. And I still try to keep up with the evolving technologies. So with the education, let's look at education pathways. You know, we got the education, we got apprenticeship, licensure, and certification. Educational pathway includes high school diploma, career and technical education, CTE, technical college certificate program, electrical apprenticeship program, associate degree in electrical technology, military electrical training, which the Air Force and the Army offer, including the Marine Corps and Navy, including also the Coast Guard. Right. A ship is a floating piece of electrical, mechanical, and gas-driven or nuclear-driven equipment. You got to have electricians. You got to have pipe fitters. You got to have electricians on that ship, plumbers on that ship. You're in bad shape if you don't have them. Ship ain't going nowhere. Most electricians complete a formal apprenticeship, combination classroom instruction with paid on-the-job training. So you don't have to borrow money to get this kind of training. Virginia typically requires license for journeymen and master electricians performing regulated electrical work. That's required. Licensing requirements generally include education, work experience, successful completion of the applicable examination. And here they are. Okay, certification includes OSHA 10-hour construction certification, OSHA 30 hours construction certification, National Electric Code, NEC training, NABCEP, solar photovoltaic certification, EV, electrical vehicles, charging infrastructure certification. You just can't go out there and say, I'll hook up your car charging mechanism or charging station to your garage, no problem. You better have that EV charging infrastructure certification. You better show it. You better ask for it. Make sure you ask for it. I want to see it. Okay? Manufacturer specific equipment certification. So you're manufacturing, you're working on a specific piece of equipment, you get certified with that. Okay? Continued education is important to maintain licensure, stay current with code updates and emerging technology. Big time. I know I said a mouthful. Equipment, software, technology, multimeter. When I was in school, when I used to do it, it was called a multi-amp meter. Amps, current, that was amp. So you're measuring current, you're measuring voltage, you're measuring resistance, and here it is. Voltage tester, conduit bender, wire puller, cable cutter, circuit tracer, terminal imaging camera, power tools, software use, AutoCAD, computer-aided drafting, electrical, Blue Beam, I know about that one too, RedView, electrical estimating software, that do estimates, okay? Project management software. You see how technical this thing is? Mobile inspection application, digital blueprint platform. I had a friend of mine when I was in the horse that has a background in computer-aided drafting, but he's also the guy for his AFFC. He prints schematic diagram for our unit. So wherever there's a project, once that information is inputted, he prints that thing out and passes it on to our commander and our superintendent, between our superintendents, okay, within our flight. Technologies, smart home system, building automation system, electrical vehicle charging station, solar photovoltaic system, battery energy storage, programmable logic controller, PLC, energy management system, internal of things, which is another word for IoT device. And what did they pay? And here's the salary expectation right here, guys. Everything's basically over 50,000. Over 50,000, not 40, over 50. 50 to 80,000 for residential. Commercial get paid 60 to 90,000. 70 to 105,000 industrial electrician. And my dad was making 35,000 in 77 years in 1975, which is major pay, equivalent to 100,000 today. That's how much, and we were living in an old house. That's how cheap my dad was. He kept that money, but he invested it, though. He invested it. Okay, master electrician, 80 to 120,000. And these are just ranges. It could be more, it could be a little less, I don't know. Electrical project manager, you're going to make 95 to 145,000. Contractor could earn 100,000 plus. Some contractors make millions. Compensation varied according to licensure level, employer, geographic location, specialization, overtime opportunities, and you're going to have an opportunity to do a lot of overtime too. Some people working 12 to 16-hour days. And I was in the Air Force, you will do 18 hours if you're deployed. Okay? And on the regular day, I'll pull from sun up to sundown until the work's done. I mean, sun up to sundown or till 5 o'clock. Depends on the day. Okay? Compensation vary according to licensure level, employer, geographic specialization, overtime, certification, and years of experience. My dad did over 30 years. And I'm here to tell you this is no play toy. But there's some things you want to take in consideration when getting into any kind of profession or trade. And it's give you an idea of what to look for, and you can set goals and say, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to be a contractor. I want to be a master electrician. These are the steps. You look through the steps and say, wow, now I know what to expect of me. Now, major employers in Chesterfield County and Greater Richmond areas, electricians can be employed by electrical contract companies, general contract companies, manufacturers' facilities, hospital. We got a new hospital being built right off 10, and a new emergency room right off 10, need electricians. School division, universities, of course, utility providers, government agencies, data centers, you know that, we already talked about that, renewable energy companies, industrial plants, property management, military contractors. My friend, my best friend, he's a military contractor. Not a contractor, but he's an HVAC mechanic working for a contractor, okay? Got to get that right. Virginia is constantly growing. There's new subdivision being built every day. Guess what? They need electricians. Every day. Every day, residential homes need repairs, or electrical systems need update. Need some rewire, or somebody may be adding on to their house and need wires extended. And then you got to get a new circuit board or connect it to the old circuit breaker, or have to provide a new circuit breaker. Okay, those things you take into consideration. That's the same for any type of trade, guys. Professional organizations, as listed, you got the Independent Electrical Contractor, the IEC, the National Electrical Contractor Association, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I know a few people who are members of that. Great organization. National Fire Protection Association, Association Builders and Contract, Associate General Contractors of America. Electrical work continues to evolve. Smart buildings. I'm turning my home into a smart building slowly but surely through my alarm system. Most buildings are now becoming more and more smarter. Okay. Building automated system. And a lot of disabled veterans needs that. Artificial intelligence, electrical vehicle charging infrastructure, solar energy, already got that already, battery energy, storage system. Some people got solar, but they need the battery storage system. They need the power to save, to build up. So when they lose power, they got power that's already been stored up that can be used in their home. What else? Microgrid, Internet of Things, advanced energy management, digital electrical inspection, prefabricated electrical assembly. If you want to do that. Predictive maintenance. That goes back to AI. Artificial intelligence electrical professional. Well, AI assists the electrician by doing what? Monitoring electrical system performance. Predicting equipment failure, and they can do that. Optimizing energy usage. Support smart building operations. Enhance fault detections. Improve electrical load analysis. Assist in preventing maintenance planning. Supporting digital inspection. In your career advancement, you can go from journeyman to electrician, start off as a journeyman electrician, become a master electrician, lead electrician, electrical estimator, electrical inspector, project manager, construction manager, electrical engineering with additional education, operational manager, business owner. And of course, there's always, like I already mentioned already, there's just like an industry, you got entrepreneurship opportunities for the same thing. And now I'm gonna stop right there. I just want to read off the electrical part. We got, again, you got construction, some trade, you got transportation, logistics, you got public safety and corrections. I have done federal correction and state corrections, and I also done private, in a way, private correction as well, okay? through as a counselor, educational training, business opportunities. It's all right in this book. All right in this book. You ought to get this book, guys. So and I'm speaking to those who are not retired. If you want to enhance your career, this is the book to get. One of the books. I mean, there's 4 volumes that covers different professions, from teachers, law enforcement, trade, computer science, you name it. I believe I got it covered. All right. I just wish somebody showed me the difference. I wish this kind of resource was around back in the early 80s. I really do. But no time like the present. We're here now. So get this book, guys. Get this book. Take a look at it. You'll be glad you did. Now, there's an ebook available too. Please forgive the table of content because the format is terrible and I can't seem to get it right. But everything else is fine. The information is sound. The illustration is sound. And it's all about that information. Now, if you want to get paperback, it's available. Let me show you. See here. It's right here. Hold on. We got paperback, hardback. Either way, it's a win-win. This is one. This is 2. There's volume 3. I have volume 3. Volume 4 is already available. It's on its way. I'm going to do a show and tell on that on Friday. Get what you need, guys. Get what you need. You got what you need. We're here to help. You can't go wrong. You're not going to go wrong with this information. It'll take the guesswork out. I already provided a link to volume 2 to help you get an idea. But I think I covered it all. I hope it's helpful. But I just wanted to cover the electrical side. Normally I just don't cover it, just say this is it and that's it. But I mean, quite sure somebody out there would appreciate what I just shared, who's looking to go into the electrical or electrician career field. Okay, some of you might want to be plumbers. Went to school for plumbing, worked on pipes, done installations, sink, you name it, toilet, hot water heat, done that. I'm telling you, and it's work. You got to have stamina. You got to have stamina to do this stuff. And I've done it for the Department of the Air Force, okay, through the Air National Guard, full time, and I was a full-time AGR. Providing maintenance, water purification, water treatment, water distribution. So I know about that kind of stuff. I know the importance of water. I know the power of distribution and the power for commercial use as well as residential use. Okay, so I have that kind of background as well. And many of my colleagues who have served with me can vouch for that. Okay, can vouch for me. But anyway, guys, get yourself a book or get this one. This is a volume right here. This one is good as well. Get this one as well. Both is either was fine. But each one covers a specific type of career. Now, if you want them all, get all 4 volumes. I mean, all 4 volumes, you can't go wrong. All right? If you're in the ministry of helping people find work, get all 4 volumes and plug them in where they fit. If you're a guidance counselor or a school counselor or a counselor for a dean of education, and you got students want to do, this is what they want to do, you can pretty much guide them what degree program that's more appropriate for them, okay? So these are just 1, 2, and I will go ahead and pull out this one too. There you go. And this is 3. They're heavy, but so much information, worth their weight in gold, That's 3, and this is 2. So if you know it's in paperback, either way it's fine. You purchase what's best for you. All right? There you go. That's how it looks like in a nutshell. And my name's on there. I worked some of these trades. I worked in some of these areas, professions in my life. Some I've been in and retired from. Some I served for a while. It's basically a stepping stone for me. And I took advantage of it, and I love it. Then time to move on. But it's just to say I haven't got experience, I do. So I can tell you some stories, and I can tell you from the military side as well. But anyway, guys, this is Reverend Dr. Antonio Arnold once again. Thank you so much for timing in. 59 minutes and 46 seconds. I haven't gone over an hour yet, and I thank God for that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay dry. Stay off the road, as that buzzer had just mentioned. All right? Airborne out.